Hello, today we are going to talk about the Fit Premises Act. We have several videos in this Fit Premises Act series, and the first video is going to be on the definition of habitability. Now, that's kind of a difficult word to say 5 times in a row. Habitability. And sometimes in Utah, it's even more difficult to understand, particularly in light of the fact that up until about 6 years ago, each municipality had their own standards of habitability. So South Salt Lake, Logan, Salt Lake City, West Valley, they all had their different own sets of habitability. We were able, as an apartment association and as a rental housing industry, to fix that and standardize this state. So we are now under a state Fit Premises Act instead of the respective cities, which makes it a lot easier. Some of these cities had 48 points of habitability. We now have, as a state act, 5. And I'm going to go through those right now. Habitability basically means the condition it must be in for you to collect rent and provide housing in the state of Utah. And number 1 is that you must have operational plumbing and sewer. So the sinks must work, you must have hot and cold water, you must have the drains working, pretty basic. Okay. Number 2, electrical must work. It doesn't say that you have to have this many outlets on your walls, or this many ceiling fans, or this much amperage, or this much voltage. It just says what's there has to work. Number 3, this is kind of a tricky one because it says heat and hot water must be available. Now, let me tell you how I interpret this. Your attorney may have a different interpretation, but my interpretation with the apartment association is that a landlord must not let a tenant turn off a utility. If you are thinking of yourself as an asset manager, meaning the person responsible to make sure the asset didn't degrade and that there wasn't deferred maintenance or risk, you would never let water get turned off in February, because what can happen? We're going to show you this great picture now of this castle of ice. It's beautiful, except it's in an apartment and it's unintentional, and this is disastrous. This is what can happen if landlords let the water, the pipes break because they let the gas get turned off. So I'm going to show you a form right now, and that form is what you serve a tenant if they have the utilities in their name and they get shut off. This is a 3-day comply or vacate. We also call it perform covenants of the lease or vacate. And the form says within 3 days, get your utilities back in your name, or you'll be in violation of the contract and we can proceed with eviction. Most utility companies also have what's called a landlord agreement. And what happens is if the utilities get switched off for any reason, they switch into your name. So we highly recommend that everybody have a landlord agreement so that utilities switch into your name, because if the gas gets turned off or the water gets turned off, you can suffer huge damages, as can your property. So don't let that happen. My interpretation of state law is it's illegal and it's a breach of habitability for you to let the utilities get turned off. Number 4 is doors and windows must secure. This doesn't mean it's impregnable, but it means that the doors and windows have to lock. And typically I joke, but painted shut doesn't count. Okay, you got to have ability to secure the doors and windows. And last, air conditioning, if it's provided, must continue to work. It's an issue just like heat. Air conditioning and heat are things that people who have health issues rely upon, and so when they move in, they rely upon it being in a certain condition so that they don't have the extremes either way that can affect their health. Now, in the state of Utah, how long do you have to fix a habitability issue? Well, you have 3 days to come into what's called substantial completion from when you're properly notified. In the next section, we'll talk about how tenants properly notify you. But properly notified is being served a written notice. Let me pull it up on the screen right now. This is the notice. It has to be served according to the 4 ways written in this notice. But once you're properly notified, you have 3 days to come into substantial completion. Let me give you an example. Let's say on a Friday the furnace goes out, 4 p.m. They call you and they say, help landlord, my furnace is out. And you say, well, sorry, I can't have anybody come out till Monday, but I'm going to bring you some space heaters to mitigate damages over the weekend, and we'll schedule the appointment first thing Monday. So first thing Monday, the guy comes out, he says, easy to fix. However, the part is back ordered 3 days. So he gets the part Thursday afternoon, he fixes it Friday a week later. Were you in substantial completion? The answer is yes. You mitigated damages. You did everything within your power to get it done. You continued to communicate with the renter, and in that case, you would be okay. But the rule is get it fixed as quickly as you can. Remember that tenants are your customers, and it's in your best interest to fix them. If you have any questions about fit premises, you ought to attend one of the classes the Apartment Association offers, like the U-Pro, like the Property Management 101. You ought to come to some of the evening meetings and learn more about it, or give us a call. Thank you so much.